up guys? Dave from NPTI. Today we're going to talk about the hip flexors and what's happening with the hip flexors. We're going to look at a test today. It's called a modified Thomas test. What I'm going to do, I'm going to have Jay lay on his back, up against the table, glutes go up against the edge of the table. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring one leg back and he's going to pull that leg to his chest. Now the idea of this test is to identify what's happening in and around the hip joint and also what's happening in and around the knee joint. So as Jay pulls this hip back, what we're going to take a look at is what's happening with the femur on the other side. And if you notice with Jay, that femur pops up off the table. That's telling us that his hip flexors, some of the deep muscles into the spine that connect into the onto the femur, they're a little bit short and tight. So one of the ways that we can kind of address this is we can actually keep him in this Thomas test here. We can make it a little bit of a stretch by pushing down on that leg. All right, that'll give a little stretch into the hip flexors, into that iliopsoas. We get a lot of people who sit for long periods of time. They develop these short and tight hip flexors. So this is a pretty good test to identify what's happening there and if that's really their case. Now the interesting thing with the hip flexors is this can also lead to low back pain, because some of these muscles attach to that spine. So that could be a quick little fix for somebody who's got some low back pain, is going to lengthen those tissues out. The other thing that this test addresses is what's happening at the knee. And if you notice, as Jay pulls that leg back, we already identified that his femur comes off the table. Well, the knee actually kind of pops straight as well. So not only are his hip flexors tight, we also can show that, hey, his quads are a little tight as well. All right, because those quads are going to be responsible for pulling that knee this way or pulling that leg this way. So if that leg is sticking out there, that's identifying that we have short and tight quad muscles as well, mainly rectus femoris. All right, but that Thomas test, like I said, is a quick test to see what's happening in and around the hips, if those hips are tight or if those hip flexors are tight, and how to address that for our clients. All right. If you have any questions, feel free to comment or ask us anything you want. Check out the websites at the end of the video. We'll see you tomorrow.